From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
Good evening to you and thanks for joining us here on Joy News at 8, which is our primetime bulletin, live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Gifty. I'm Jo Apia. Coming up in the next hour, preliminary investigations in the shooting incident which claimed the lives of 2 police officers near Winneba reveals they were shot mistakenly by the police. We'll bring you details of that. Also tonight, NPP General Secretary Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie describes Chachu Chikata's recent comment against the Justice of the Supreme Court as unfortunate and says it raises serious legal concerns over the judgment. Boko Central Constituency Chairman of the ruling NDC says he'll step down from his position and resign from the party if the president maintains the MCE nominated. In business, Ghana's banking industry has come second after Nigeria in the latest EcoBank research analysis. On the international front, Kenya's withdrawal from the International Criminal Court is likely to be approved ahead of the deputy president appearing before the court. We have all these plus the latest in showbiz and sport. Please stay tuned. To begin with, NPP General Secretary Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie, popularly known as Sir John, has described as unfortunate recent comments by Chachu Chikata after the Supreme Court's determination of the party's election petition. Sir John says the comments by Chachu raises serious legal concerns over how the judges ruled on the matter, which in his opinion needs to be investigated.
Chachu Chikata, speaking on Accra-based TV station, questioned the basis upon which one of the justices of the Supreme Court ruled in the landmark election petition. Chachu singled out Justice Enin Yeboah and said he was partisan in his ruling because he was appointed by former President Kufuor.
So Chikata should not behave like all is well and therefore he's won the case, hands down, and he should gloat, as it were. Indeed, if his whole analysis is to go by, if we were to extend his reasoning that because Justice Enin Yeboah was appointed by His Excellency J. Kufuor, which is why he was doing the bidding of the NPP. Everybody knows that Tuguba was appointed by Rollins, Bedegbe was appointed by Mills, NDC, Akute Banfo was appointed by Mills. So is it because of that, that is why they did not find a single reason even to stand on? Is that the reason why? Going by Chikata's in analogy, I think that that's what it is. And we must, like he puts it, we must also be frank in confronting those.
Sir John also wants Chachu Chikata to apologize to the NPP for those comments.
Chikata's outburst is unfortunate. It is with respect, out of order. I will not use the word nonsensical because that would be too high-handed, but it doesn't make sense whatsoever. And he should know better. He is a law lecturer. He is completely got it wrong. He should be the first person to be humble enough to come and apologize to the bench, to the country, and to the New Patriotic Party and the petitioners. But if he says he won't do it, we'll leave him to his conscience. Ghanaians, it is posterity that will judge him.
The party, he noted, will seek a review of the court's judgment if need be, following recommendations from a 3-member committee set up to look into the ruling.
Reviews are not as a matter of fact, as it were, but it will all be dependent on what the 3-member committee that was set up by the National Council come to inform us. If indeed, having studied the judgment, they are of the view that all is not well and that the conclusions do not add up, then obviously we cannot rule anything in or rule anything out. So for us, whether or not we seek a review will be dependent on the advice that this committee comes up with. Unfortunately for us, since last Thursday when this judgment was delivered, we have applied for the record of proceedings and especially the judgment. The registry have not been able to give us the copies of the judgment.
Now, the National Peace Council says the unjustified attacks on the integrity of any or all of the judges who heard the petition will be inimical to maintaining national peace and cohesion. The leadership spoke to journalists in Accra.
The Council respectfully advises that every effort should be made to consolidate the peace in the country, and that in consequence, organizations and personalities should refrain from utterances, statements, and other acts that are likely to create tensions that could threaten national peace. The National Peace Council considers that unjustified attacks on the integrity of any or all of the honorable judges who heard the petition would be inimical to the maintenance of national peace and cohesion. The Council therefore respectfully appeals to all concerned parties and media houses to refrain from such acts. So whilst we are reacting to what the two honorable eminent lawyers have said in respect of our judges, we're also trying to discourage others from joining the fray in saying things that they shouldn't say. Let us respect the institutions that we ourselves have put in place to ensure democratic governance and the rule of law in our country. The brother asked a question, the biometric thing. I think we chose to go to court and we allow people who have the know-how, the capacity to look at the law and address the issue. And we have no business challenging what they have done. Anybody who has asked to grind has the constitutional provision to follow. Seek redress. The NPP says they are studying the verdict and might decide to seek review. That is their constitutional right, if they so desire. All we have been saying throughout is that let us use constitutional means to seek redress and not violence. And so if by studying they feel that they would want to seek redress, nobody will begrudge them. All we are saying is that let us maintain the peace of this country as we seek justice and redress.
Well, let's remain with the NPP a little while longer. The General Secretary, Kojo Usefriye, has also indicated that 2012 flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo will once again lead the party in the 2016 polls. He said Nana Addo is not that old and that his speech after the court verdict is no indication that he was retiring from politics. Nana Addo, he believes, is the best man to lead the party to victory in 2016.
Where we are, it's not about Akufo-Addo. Ghanaians need him. His country needs him. The party needs him. And it is for their sake that Akufo-Addo would return in 2016 and take this country to better heights. And so that decision certainly will not be the decision of Akufo-Addo. If the voice of the people is the voice of God, then we are calling on Akufo-Addo to listen to the voice of the people. And the voice of the people on the ground is that they need Akufo-Addo.
Nana Addo, according to him, had marketed himself very well and was the best candidate for the job.
I've heard people talk about age. Now laugh. Age. We have some people who are 45 and yet they are so weak that they cannot even move. You understand? There are people who are 70, 80 and yet they are solid as the rock of Gibraltar. Akufo-Addo is in that league. I have seen Mugabe moving with some agility. And he's still there. Some 80 what, 83, 85, still there, still going strong. I have seen the Israeli president over 92, 93 years. He's the president of Israel, one of the most powerful countries in this country, in the world. He's there, the president, 93-year-old. You know Salif Johnson, Liberia. You know how old she is? About I think 76. She is still the president of Liberia, and she's going for another 5 years or thereabout. You add it up, she will still be there. Akufo-Addo will be 71 in what? 2016, and he cannot come. People are joking. They don't get it. They don't understand politics. I can tell you Akufo-Addo will be there in 2016. Inshallah.
The NPP, he also hinted, will go to Congress early next year to elect new leaders to enable them plan well ahead of the 2016 polls.
And a quick reminder, the stories after the verdict are brought to you by Multimedia in partnership with Star Ghana. Former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings has applauded Nana Akufo-Addo, the first petitioner in the just dismissed presidential election petition, for acting as a statesman. Whilst commending the NPP leader, Konadu-Rawlings says there were still questions begging for answers as far as the recent ruling on the election petition was concerned. 9 justices last Thursday dismissed the petition, which challenged the legitimacy of President John Mahama as the validly elected president in the 2012 polls. The reasons for the judgment are, however, yet to be made public, but Nana Konadu believes some questions relating to the judgment remain unanswered. During a visit to Nana Akufo-Addo, the former First Lady did not hesitate to ask for clarity in the landmark ruling and urged the 2012 NPP flag bearer to explain the verdict to Ghanaians. We'll bring you voices of that later on. But now, the certified copies of the presidential election petition judgment is out. The judgment, which was left with the registry of the court, contains reasons why the petition challenging the results of the 2012 election had been dismissed. The 9-member panel of judges handed their verdict on Thursday and directed the parties involved in the case to pick up the details of the judgment at the registry. Though some commentators have expressed worry at the delay in releasing the document 5 days after the judgment, the judges have now made available to the public and to the parties the copies of the verdict. Joy News can confirm that the parties involved in the landmark case have already picked up their copies. Chairman of the NPP and the third petitioner, Jacob Echebi-Lamte, had early on expressed disappointment in the delay in handing over the details of the judgment to the parties. He described it as a disappointment to Ghana's democracy and hinted the party will go for a review if it found that the reasons given for the ruling were purely political rather than legal. So as we remain with the aftermath of the election petition verdict, let's go back to Nana Akufo-Addo's residence and hear what happened there today between himself and Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings.
The only thing that I would like to put before you as a lawyer and as a statesman is to explain things to Ghanaians, because people are at a loss. That, oh, are they not saying that after spending a lot of money on equipment for verification, doesn't matter anymore? Is that what we're saying? We can now vote without verification. Are they saying this? Are they saying that? With the questions that, innocently people are asking. We will need those of you who are lawyers to look at it and tell us, we the lay people, explain it to us so that we can understand it better. So we are here today to say thank you and hope that we can all continue to uphold the good name of Ghana. Now, government says the Ministry of Local Government has quickened the pace
of the street naming project. This is despite the fact that the ministry has not been able to meet President Mohammed's directive to complete the process in 18 months. At a media briefing at the Flagstaff House today, Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister Murtala Mohammed said with the Supreme Court's verdict on the elections out of the way, government is now poised for the smooth implementation of its strategies to achieve its Better Ghana agenda.
Court case is over. The verdict was given. Government would want to say that the focus on ensuring the enhancement of the Better Ghana agenda as captured in the 2012 manifesto of the NDC is something that will be implemented in ENS. It is a fact that after you have won an elections and you are taken to court, you did not have the opportunity to have a honeymoon. It certainly would have distracted a lot of people and a lot of economic activities. Indeed, there were people in this country who were told who had even gone to change their monies to dollars and other foreign currencies because of the fear of possible violence. I think that Ghana has demonstrated once again that we are remaining a beacon of democracy in the sub-Saharan Africa. And credit to a very large extent must be given to this government, that this government allowed the process to move on smoothly. This government never did anything untoward to ensure that justice was done to the people of Ghana. Even though we started with some challenges, it is obvious to everybody that the Dumso is over. And indeed, once it is over, it will help to boost economic activities. Government also has and still maintain the objective of providing the necessary educational facilities as promised in our manifesto, that the secondary schools, or if you like, the second cycle institutions that are going to be provided are certainly going to be provided. And let us also agree that these were challenging times. They were challenging times because there was a cloud of uncertainty. Now that that is over, we have no doubt in mind that we will be able to implement the promises that we made in the 2012, for which reason the good people of this country overwhelmingly voted for His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama.
Murtala Mohammed also announced government's appreciation to the labor unions for accepting the 10% base pay increase, which according to the minister, the deputy minister, takes retrospective effect.
The Minister of Local Government has indeed accelerated the implementation of the street naming, which was something that government wanted to do after the 2008 elections. It is hopeful that the project would complete in 18 months. They have sent the necessary equipment to MMDAs for the implementation of it in ENS. Government wish to take this opportunity to call on stakeholders, particularly traditional authorities in the various communities, to assist in ensuring that this street naming becomes a reality. Once the streets are named, they help to boost economic activities in the country. National identification is also another important thing. We don't necessarily need to be identified as individuals based on we being registered under the National Identification Authority. It is equally important that our streets, areas and locations are also identified.
Well, some news coming in is that 2 police officers who were alleged to have been shot dead during a gunfire exchange with armed robbers in Winneba were actually mistakenly shot dead by the police patrol team which responded to the distress call. A statement released by the Public Affairs Directorate of the Police Service a while ago says the patrol team in their response came across a private vehicle being used by a police officer who was conveying his colleague who was injured by the robbers to the hospital and inadvertently took them for escaping robbers. The team pursued them and fired at them, leading to the death of the 2 policemen. The statement said the homicide squad and the crime scene management team of the CID have proceeded to the rented quarters shared by the police and some students of the Pan-African Christian University College where the robbery took place for investigation. We're joined on the line now by Director of Police Public Affairs Directorate, DSP Cephas Arthur, for some clarification. Good evening to you, sir, and thanks for your time.
Good evening.
All right, so are you able to confirm this this issue to us?
Yeah, it is so, as is contained in the release.
Are you able to tell us also exactly who shot the police officers?
Yeah, as once again as contained in the release, our preliminary investigation can confirm that the two policemen were fired at by their own colleagues from a police patrol team that was responding to a distress call. As you may already have heard, the police were attacked by the robbers in their residence, which is a rented quarters, which is also shared by students of a university nearby. And in the course of the attack, a police officer sustained an injury. But then the policemen had invited the patrol team to come to their aid. When they had a little reprieve, one policeman took his injured colleague in his private car. That was around 11 o'clock p.m. yesterday, and headed for hospital for medical attention for him. And while they were going, they came into contact with this patrol team that was also responding to their distress call. And it is at this time that the patrol team took the policeman carrying his colleague in his private car to the hospital for the escaping robbers, and thereby fired at them.
Now, on a typical day, if you are faced with such a situation, what is the ideal thing that you should do as a police officer?
This is an emergency situation. This is an emergency. Sometimes you are required to use your discretion, but it all calls for continuous training and retraining. Continuous training and retraining of our personnel to bring them up to speed with.
Are you saying that you haven't done that?
Oh, we continue to do it. You know, our work, is continuously evolving. Crime combat is continuously evolving. And I guess under this circumstance, they acted in an emergency situation. But then that is left for the investigation that we have set into the whole incident to establish. So I wouldn't want to talk too much about the conduct of police officers. They were genuinely responding to emergency situation, and they came across this vehicle coming from the scene of crime. And it was a robbery situation. It wasn't an assault situation. So let us leave that to the investigators.
Right now, the policemen who have shot their colleagues will be devastated, I'm sure, by now. Have you seen them, and how are they taking this whole thing? How are you helping them? Probably they may be psychologically traumatized. How are you handling this?
Yes, we have started dealing with the situation. You know, it will not be a one-day issue. Further handling and management by our psychologists and other people will come in. So we are dealing with them. You know, they are people that are providing security. They were doing their legitimate work, and they came upon this accident. And so they must be brought back to their soul self, if I can put it that way. So we are definitely going to work on them to ensure that they regain all their different faculties intact.
Now, finally, beyond working on these people who were personally involved in the shootout, what are you going to do about the matter generally?
Oh, generally, we are also investigating the crime. In fact, that is what triggered everything. So somebody committed a crime of robbery, and there must be, it must be investigated thoroughly to get to the bottom of it, so that they don't have any opportunity to perpetrate it again on another set of persons or in a different area. So as I speak now, the crime scene management team and the homicide squad, both from the CID headquarters, arrived there on the scene of the crime in the morning, and it is even through their effort that these other reports have been, established.
So can you tell the public who exactly shot these police officers who are dead now? Which of the police officers exactly shot them? Are you allowed to say that to the public?
We can't establish it now. It is early days yet. But we can say that it is the patrol team that was responding to the distress call that inadvertently shot at their own colleague.
Okay. Thank you very much, DSP Cephas Arthur there, explaining what exactly happened with the policemen who shot their colleagues mistakenly. But you're still watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. We'll take a very quick break. When we return, we have some more news. Time now to do some business, and the Volta River Authority has awarded 60 students across the country a full educational scholarship worth over 100,000 cedis under its Community Development Program Award scheme. The VRA is also set to provide safe and affordable water to 100 communities in the Volta Basin.
46 brilliant and needy senior high school students from communities in the southern sector affected by the operations of the VRA first received the Community Development Program Scholarship Award. The scholarship scheme will also see 14 students from the northern sector through their secondary school education. Apart from providing educational assistance to young people in its operational areas, the VRA plans to embark on some community water projects.
This year, we have partnered with Safe Water Network, a non-governmental organization, to provide safe and affordable water to several communities along the banks of the Volta River. The community water systems, to be co-funded by the VRA and Safe Water Network, will form the foundation for a cluster of water systems that VRA and Safe Water Network seek to develop over the next 3 years for 100 communities in the Volta Basin. An initial list of 20 communities has been identified based on the significant health and sanitation challenges posed by the lack of safe water access in these areas.
Not only will the VRA support its 52 plus 6 resettled communities affected by their operations, they also aim at extending their corporate social responsibility to the rest of Ghanaians.
Hitherto, people have done CSR programs where they have gone to communities and given them something. I mean, maybe they gave them a school, but you find out that the community doesn't need a school, they need water. So what we do is to speak to the traditional authorities, the leaders, plus the district local government, so that they come up with programs that they feel will benefit the community. Then we provide it for them.
The Deputy Minister of Volta Region, Francis Ganyaglo, deputizing the Deputy Education Minister, commended the initiative, while some beneficiaries of the scholarships were appreciative of the gesture.
Fears of outbreak of disease 3 days after torrential rains wreaked havoc in Bunkpurungbu and East Mamprusi districts of the northern region. Flood victims of Bogni in the Bunkpurungbu districts in the northern region fear there could be an outbreak of diseases as the floods have deprived them of appropriate places of convenience.
Lack of sanitation facilities in the community, residents practice open defecation in the area. A resident of the community, Imoru Mata, told Joy News the practice could soon pollute their source of water. Severe rainstorm resulting in floods over the weekend led to the death of one person, and about 700 houses and farmlands of residents of Bunkpurungbu and East Mamprusi districts were submerged by the floods. About 6,000 residents were also rendered homeless and properties worth hundreds of Ghana cedis destroyed. Victims are currently taking shelter in classrooms of junior high schools in the area, friends and family members. They have been appealing for support from government, which is yet to come to them days after the incident.
It's through the cause of the rain that the houses collapsed. But this not more issue to what I can say much is probably to some time ago we faced the same problem. And finally, we didn't know what help they brought here. They wrote our names, took pictures, they went and nothing came. So that's why people relaxed be telling them or showing them their things.
Last year, officials of NADMO and the Ghana Red Cross came to the rescue of hundreds of displaced residents in the area in what was described as the worst rainstorm in the two districts. Meanwhile, residents of Gwentri and Naumo in the East Mamprusi districts are appealing to authorities in the district to immediately fix collapsed bridges in the area that connect satellite communities to the district capital. More than 4 storm bridges on the major road in the area have broken down as a result of the severe rainstorm that hit the area. There are fears among traders and other residents that if the bridges are not immediately fixed, they will not be able to access health care and trade in the Nalerugu township. The news team chanced on the district chief executive for East Mamprusi, Adam Imoro, and some youth of the area working to fix the bridge. He told Joy News that they found it necessary to fix the bridge in order not to deprive traders and other residents there from having access to the Nalerugu township.
Myself and my team went around all the affected areas to see for ourselves. And in fact, there are some of the issues that we cannot handle at our level. Nevertheless, most of the things we can do it at the assembly level, and even the community is ready to help us handle some of the things. Like what we are just doing here. In fact, if this work is not done, today no car can come from Gwentri to Nalerugu. And that means that most of the people who are even sick cannot attend the hospital at Nalerugu.
There has been a surge in the incidence of rabies in the Kumasi metropolis lately. At least 60 cases of dog bites were recorded in 2012. Out of this, 12 people tested positive and 11 died of the disease. This has been blamed on the unwillingness of pet owners to vaccinate their animals. Kumasi Metropolitan Veterinary Doctor Dr. Dixon Day says the incidence may increase if vaccination is not done anytime soon. A report by Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin.
And often fatal viral polioencephalitis that exclusively affects the grey matter of the dog's brain and its central nervous system. Rabies virus is generally transmitted to dogs through a bite from a disease carrier. Once the virus enters the dog's body, it replicates in the cells of the muscles, spreads to the closest nerve fibers, including sensory and motor nerves. In Ghana, the viral rabies disease has been within the dog population for decades, with the domestic dog being the principal vector. It is estimated to cause 24,000 human deaths per year in Africa. In Ghana, 25 human rabies deaths were recorded between January 2009 and July 2011. According to the Kumasi Metropolitan Veterinary Officer, every dog is dangerous since their bites cause harm and may lead to the infestation of rabies if they are positive. He further explained how the rabies disease is risky to the veterinary officers and the vaccination officers and the need to keep them alive at the pet clinic.
It's difficult because these are animals you are dealing with. You have to be very careful in approaching any animal at all. Here, for example, deal mostly with dogs, and dogs carry rabies. So any bite from any dog can be dangerous to you, can be rabies. So first and foremost, any dog that comes here, it should be behind your mind that is rabid. So you protect yourself first.
Similarly, one rabies dog in an area is considered as an outbreak since the virus spreads easily.
It's not all that dangerous. If you vaccinate your dog every year against rabies, then you are protected. We are in a clinic, we accept any dog that comes. Mind you, they are sick. Any dog that comes, they are sick. And if a dog is rabid, initially you might not know. And they'll present to you. If you are not careful, it bites you, then it's very dangerous.
Dr. Dixon Day is worried this year's vaccination might not come off if budget presented to the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is not approved. It would take the department about 2 months to complete the vaccination in the metropolis. At the time of the news team's visit, the veterinary doctor with his team was treating a dog that was injured by a blind object. Just for 3 days, the wound on this particular dog has become extensive. Luckily, it affected only the muscles. The situation would have been different if the internal organs were affected. This is one of the many cases the veterinary department in the metropolis records every day.
And time now for business brought to you, which will be brought to you by Abigail Adumaku-Enchi.
So here is where we bring you what is happening in the world of business. My name is Abigail Adumaku-Enchi. And to some very good news coming in, according to Ecobank Research latest analysis, Ghana's banking industry came second after Nigeria and the ECOWAS sub-region with an asset size of $14.27 billion. However, the rest of the 14 countries in the region have banking sectors that are less than $1 billion each. According to the report, the banking penetration in the country is still low at 39%. This indicates that there are still opportunities for further expansion of the banking sector balance sheet in Ghana. The key opportunities for the balance sheet expansion is said will come from the oil and gas, cocoa and telecom sectors where transactions are usually large. Meanwhile, the top 5 banks accounted for 45.8%, 36.3% and 47.2% of aggregate assets, loans and deposits respectively in 2012. They also accounted for 47.5% of the industry branch network, which grew from 360 branches in 2004 to 833 branches in 2012. The report added that the branch network is set to increase in the next 3 years as banks implement the expansion strategies. Now on to some international business. Some 80,000 gold miners in South Africa are going on strike to demand higher pay. The National Union of Mine Workers is demanding wage increases of up to 60%. Workers last week rejected an offer of a 6% rise, the same as the current annual rate of inflation.
South Africa's gold industry is one of the biggest in the world, but has been in decline in recent years, while the platinum sector is recovering from violence during last year's strike. It has been estimated that the gold miners' strike could cost South Africa more than $30 million a day in lost output. Mine owners are warning that the strike could lead to gold mines closing and thousands of jobs being lost following a fall in the price of gold. They say that their production costs have been increased as they've had to dig ever deeper to extract gold. For many years, South Africa was by far the world's largest gold producer and accounted for 68% of global output in 1970. It is now the 5th biggest, with just 6% of world production, but mining is still the most important sector in South Africa's economy.
And that's it for business. My name is Abigail Adumaku-Enchi. George Ado joins you shortly with sports.
Sports is brought to you in association with
Smile. You've got Higo. Time for the very latest in the world of sports. It's all about the Black Stars net. The Black Stars camp has been hit by a number of injuries after just 2 days of training ahead of Friday's World Cup qualifier against Zambia. Captain Asamoah Gyan is a major doubt for the game following his failure to complete this morning's training session at Accra Sports Stadium over an injury concern. Goalkeeper Adam Korase also had a knock and has been replaced by Medeama SC shot-stopper Foley Adadi. Medeama SC goalkeeper Foley Adadi has been handed an emergency call-up to the Black Stars following the withdrawal of Adam Korase due to injury. The Strom Gojes captain arrived in Ghana to join the Black Stars camp on Monday night, but failed to join the rest of the team for this morning's training session at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Ghana FA is yet to confirm the nature of the injury, but Joy Sports sources reveal Korase was taken to the hospital for scans on the supposed injury before concluding and ruling him out at Friday's crucial World Cup qualifier at home to Zambia. As a backup for goalkeeping Joe Fatal Dawda and Razak Brima, the technical team of the Black Stars headed by coach Kwesi Appiah has handed the debut call-up to the first-choice shot-stopper of the home-based Black Stars team, who recently returned from an international friendly against Libya and Tunisia last weekend. Now, head coach Kwesi Appiah has told Joy Sport he is impressed with today's training session and is hopeful their fine-tuning Kumasi would help him iron out the wrinkles before the game on Friday. Asamoah Gyan, who remains a doubt for Friday's game, spoke to Joy Sports after the training session he failed to complete.
Expecting a good game. We're playing at home, and I think we're playing this game for the fans actually, because that is what everybody's expecting. We've been talking about this game for quite a long time, and I think everybody's in camp now and that we prepared for the game. So definitely we'll make sure we make everybody happy on Friday. Yeah, I had a muscle strain. I don't know how serious it is, but I had to just go to the camp and then sit with the medical team. Maybe go for some scans and then we see what the problem is. But for now, I don't know what the problem is.
Black Stars will be off to Kumasi where they'll be fine-tuning. We'll keep close tabs on that one and bring you up to speed with that. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adi Jr. Do you have a good night?
Sports was brought to you in association with
On to some showbiz now. The final 4 contestants of the Vodafone Icon Street edition have been interacting with a section of the media, telling them why they each deserve the grand prize at stake in the competition. The media personnel also had the chance to experience how it is like to be in a singing competition.
At a pre-finale media cocktail organized for some selected media personnel and the final 4 Vodafone Icons contestants, the media were briefed about the mouth-watering prize package for the winner of the street edition of Icons. The winner gets to take home a 250,000 Ghana Cedi prize package, a record deal with Universal Records, a Kia Sportage, and a whole lot more. The media were also made to experience how fun or challenging it is to be in a singing competition. In threes, they entered into a karaoke competition.
Raise the roof and make some fun. Go away, there's work to be done. Will make us go bad. Cause ever since my girl left it, my whole life been crashing. I'm so
cheerleader, my dreams will seem the only day that had a football team.
And I must say, my group turned out the winner. For our prize, we got an applause. And the Vodafone team, I think they were in contempt. Just listen.
About is you. No, I'm with my boo, but you know I'm crazy over you.
I met this chick and she just moved around the block for me, and though she got a house for me, the finest thing I'd ever know. But oh no, oh, she got a man in the sun though, so bad at. Sorry?
Shucks. Not that easy after all. That's it for showbiz.